Hello there and welcome to the Travel Pulse. I'm your host, Anna Hoy, and each week I speak with industry leaders on all things travel related, travel destinations, travel tips, and of course, travel deals. And today I'm very excited that my guest is from Special Needs Group, and they are a leading company in accessibility rental equipment. And we're excited to talk about how you can travel comfortably even with mobility issues. So welcome my guest, please, Miss Karen Leonard. Welcome,
Hello,
Karen.
everyone. Hi, thank you so much, Anna, for having me. I'm so excited to be part of your Travel Pulse web experience.
Well, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy lady, and I just have a really quick fun fact for you about today. It popped up on my calendar that today is National Fudge Day.
Uh-oh.
I thought that was really funny, and I'm like, oh, you know, every day there's one of those national days, and I thought, oh, that's fun. It's Fudge Day, so I guess you're supposed to make fudge or buy fudge or eat fudge or
all of it, all of the above.
all of it. Yeah, something like that, right? So I'm really excited to have you come on the episode of the Travel Pulse, and I'd like to maybe start off with a little bit about your background, a little bit more about Special Needs Group.
Sure, thank you. Well, me personally, I've been involved in the travel industry for close to 14 and a half years now. I started out as a coach for travel advisors such as yourself, owners of franchises, independent contractors, and just taught them how to have a home-based business and how to sell travel and so forth. And then I transitioned into being a travel advisor such as yourself. And
nice.
Yeah, I learned a lot that way, and then I moved into Special Needs Group, and I think I've really found my niche here. I just love being able to help people discover travel that maybe didn't think they could do so.
Yeah, I think that's so valuable. And Special Needs Group, was I correct in saying that Special Needs Group is one of the industry leaders?
Yes, we are definitely the leading global provider. We do mobility equipment, so wheelchairs, walkers, scooters, power chairs, those kinds of things. We also provide all kinds of other things as well. You know, in certain circumstances, we can even provide things like hospital beds and lift chairs or patient lifts. We have services for people that have vision impairments and hearing impairments. So we operate all over the world, and we'd love to get as many people traveling as possible.
Yes, I love that. And I am what you would be considered, or what I would be considered as a slow walker. So I think I mentioned to you before that I have lower back issues. And recently I went on a cruise with my husband, and walking on the cruise ship back and forth, you know, that's pretty big. They're pretty big nowadays. And all that walking does get to you. But what I found for me was the excursions is where it was a little bit more difficult for me. Because, you know, on the ship, you can take breaks whenever you want to, but when you're on an excursion, you know, it's a little bit more challenging. So knowing that there are resources available, such as even a walking cane or, you know, those drivable scooters, it's really helps me to realize that I can go on these excursions that maybe I wouldn't have considered before. So as a slow walker, you know, I appreciate that. Now, I understand that baby boomers is on the rise, and it's one of the largest segments of the population that may be somebody that needs mobility assistance when they're traveling. Do you find that to be true?
Absolutely. In the United States alone, baby boomers are turning 65 at the rate of 10,000 people a day. So that's 3.65 million people a year. And it's definitely an underserved market in that outside of the United States, if people were to cruise or go to resorts or whatever, you know, they don't have the laws protecting those places and people that visit those places as we do here in the United States.
Oh, gotcha.
Since the population is growing so large, it truly is an underserved market. And that's why we want to work with more people like you, you know, excellent travel advisors to help spread that word.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that's awesome. And I knew that they were growing, but I didn't know so much of the population was growing. So now I know that you touched on it, that you rent equipment. You also sell the equipment, or is it mostly for rent?
It's mostly for rent. We do have some equipment for sale. We have a really cool beach wheelchair that can be used.
I saw that.
Yeah, it can go from the sand into the water. So that's something that's really cool. Some people maybe never thought that they could go to the beach. So we have something like that. We also have a portable scooter that can then break down into 2 different pieces. Believe it or not, it's a full-size scooter. It collapses into like a suitcase, and then it can be actually broken down even further into 2 pieces and can be taken as onboard carry-ons on an airplane. So yeah, we do sell things like that. We also right now have started selling PPE equipment, so masks and gloves and things like that. If that's a concern for someone, we can also provide those things.
That's good to know, especially in our current world environment. So that's good to know that that's available for travelers. So I noticed earlier you mentioned about wheelchairs and scooters and several other pieces of equipment. And I remember a while back you telling me a story about a gentleman with a special needs dog. Would you care to share that story with me one more time?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I mean, we've been in business for a long time, about 13 and a half years. And my director of operations is an amazing person. She's got relationships all over the world. We actually operate in 215 metropolitan areas in 68 countries around the world. But this one particular gentleman was a client of ours. He was vision impaired and he had a service animal. The service animal himself, the dog, was also special needs because he could only eat a certain kind of dog food. And this dog food was very unusual. So it was very hard to get. And you couldn't ship it around very easily. So he was going on a cruise from the United States to Italy and was not able to get the dog food to go. The customs officials would not allow him to board the dog food. So he called his travel advisor. She was not able to find it for him. The cruise line was not able to find it for him, but they called us because he is our client, and we were able to get it for him in Europe, elsewhere, and have it shipped to him in Italy. So at least it was waiting for him when he got there.
Wow.
So, yeah, it pretty crazy. I mean,
that is quite a story.
We just never know.
Oh my goodness, this I bet you have a ton of stories, right? With a lot of different types of special needs, and I think that you guys are even able to find organic baby food. Right?
Yeah, we've even delivered organic baby food for people before. I mean, one of the things that we do is, whatever it is that you would need, we try to get it for you if we can. If it's feasible and it makes sense, we're going to get it. So we do everything from, incontinence supplies to, like you said, organic baby food. We've even done pack and plays for people in cribs, so yeah, it's not always necessarily medical. With special needs with us, it's an all-encompassing term, but it does concentrate on more of the people that have an issue or a condition or something that causes them to have difficulty in traveling.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That makes me think that no question is, something that we won't want to look at. So we could call you
Absolutely.
For any type of request, and more times than not, you'll probably be able to meet the need. So that's amazing.
Absolutely. Another story, just real quick, is we had to source a particular kind of stroller for a woman who her child was a little on the larger side, and I can say that, so am I. But he wouldn't fit into a standard stroller. She was flying in to go to Disney and didn't know what to do. She didn't want to bring her stroller. So we actually were able to find one for her that he could comfortably fit in, and she enjoyed a week at Disney, without another thought.
Wow, that's great. So that leads me to ask, I know that you serve cruise ships and places like Disneyland. Where else do you provide services physically and geographically? What area do you serve?
Well, as I said before, we operate in 215 metropolitan areas.
215, okay.
Yep, in 68 countries. Now, most of those are cruise ports, but we can deliver to, say, within a half hour or so from every port that we service. Also, we are starting to incorporate more land. So we can do most of Europe. If you go almost anywhere in Europe, we can help you. All of Italy, all of Greece. We can do all of the Dominican Republic. So anywhere you visit there, we can, find you and deliver equipment. We also do most of the eastern seaboard of Mexico, where all the all-inclusives are. And we do big cities like Las Vegas, Paris, New York. So we are all over the place, but even if it's not someplace that we specifically have equipment, that doesn't mean that we can't get something there. We've shipped equipment for people before to meet them in different locations. We've worked with the cruise lines to transport equipment. So it's something that, again, you should always ask us, see if we can help.
Awesome. That's great. And then I understand that you guys have what's called white glove service.
Yes, we do. White glove service is so cool. It's for travelers on Carnival, Norwegian, Regent Seven Seas, and Oceania. So those 4 cruise lines.
Okay.
Because it's for mobility equipment only, and you'll understand that in just a second. But we have the guests call us when they arrive to the port, and we have them meet with what we call our guest experience ambassador, who then delivers the equipment right to them curbside before they even enter their terminal. That way they can play with it, they can ask questions, they have an expert standing right there, so they make sure that they're comfortable with the equipment. Then they take it on their cruise, they have a great time. If they want to and the ship will allow it, they can take it offshore, like you were saying, on an excursion, no problem. And then when they're ready to get off, they let us know ahead of time when they're going to be disembarking, and we go and meet them and pick it up again, and then, ask them, hey, how did it go?
Wow, how easy.
Yeah, it's a very simple service, and a lot of people love it. We're working towards offering that in many, many other locations. Right now, we probably have about 30 different ports around the world that we can do that in, and we're definitely working towards including other cruise lines, but right now it's just those 4. Again, Norwegian, Oceania, Regent, and Carnival.
That's great. I was recently on Norwegian, and I actually did see several pieces of equipment. I'm not sure if it was the white glove service, but I did notice several pieces of equipment and was pointing it out to my husband. I was like, ooh, that's a special needs group. That's from special needs group too. And what I noticed, and one of them was a wheelchair and the other one was, scooter, and that they were easy to go down the hallway. The other one I saw getting in and out the elevator, and it looked like it was just really easy for the customer to get in and out and move around.
Yeah.
And it was great to see that up front and in person and see how they maneuvered around. And the lady on the scooter said she loved it because she could turn tight corners real easily, and she didn't feel like she was in somebody's way when she wanted to get from point A to point B. So yeah, just thought I would share that with you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try to talk to everyone whenever I go on a cruise and I see people. I always try to talk to them, and I'm always just like that. I hear, oh, this is so wonderful. It's changed my life, because it's like you said, the ship, if you need to, you can kind of stop and take a rest or whatever. But, if you're taking, say your cabin's on one end of the ship and the dining room's all the way at the other end, it's just so easy to get on a scooter and just scoot your way down there in a few minutes, as opposed to taking your time and kind of struggling along. And if you're traveling with other able-bodied people that don't have issues, you can keep up with them, and you don't feel like you're being a burden to them or anything like that. So it's a lot of fun to talk to people when they're experiencing that.
Yeah, because I think that some customers might feel like, oh, I can't travel because I can't keep up with the group. So realizing that they actually can, and a lot of excursions, they even have a specific tour guide for the slow walkers. So you don't feel like you're left behind. You're able to go on the excursions and enjoy it just like an, able-bodied person. And with the equipment, it makes it easy, and you can enjoy your vacation just like everybody else. So the fact that you don't have to worry about that gives you peace of mind, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really makes the experience so much better.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think I told you that I went on a cruise in January. I was on a Norwegian cruise to the Mexican Riviera, and my husband and I went on an excursion, and it was a snorkeling. And I guess I didn't realize when I booked it that you were getting off the boat in the middle of the water to go snorkeling. I thought we were going to be on the beach and walk into the water. So when I saw the inclined stairs to go in and out of the water, it really concerned me, and I wasn't sure if I could do it. And it stopped me from going on the excursion. Yeah, so if I planned ahead and really knew what there was to be expected, they did have a different excursion that did, land a leave from the water, from the beach, to the water. And in asking the right questions, I would have known that.
Absolutely.
So that leads me to my next question was, as a travel advisor, I want to serve my clients the best way possible. So what are the key questions that I should make sure I ask every traveler before they travel, so I can make sure that I'm taking care of any special needs that they might have?
Well, I know we've talked before. You've heard me teach before, so you know I'm going to say the question. The biggest question you can ask is there anyone in your traveling party or even anyone you think might want to travel with you that has any disabilities or special needs I should be aware of? And that includes mobility, respiratory, dietary, whatever kind of special needs. But you want to include that or anyone else, because a lot of people with special needs and disabilities don't travel because they're not sure or not aware that services exist that will allow them to do so. So when you ask them that, it gets your client thinking about, oh, I have this sister or an aunt or a friend or, you know, an acquaintance that has always seen me traveling and didn't know that they could come along. So yeah, definitely you want to ask that. That's the biggest one. But then on that, you want to ask specific questions about what it is you're doing. So if you're going on a cruise, find out what's accessible in relation to your specific situation. If it's a mobility issue, and maybe you're going to be using a scooter or a wheelchair, you know, do they have lowered counters in certain places that you can access? Maybe in the casino, if you like to play in the casino, you know.
I do.
Yeah. So find out what's available, because it's really awkward to have to play, you know, up high. So sometimes they'll have lowered tables and things like that. What about the theater? You know, everybody loves to go to the theater on a ship. Is there wheelchair seating or is there scooter seating available?
Or early seating, maybe you get to seat earlier.
Right, something like that. What accommodations are being made so that you can enjoy your trip just as much as anyone else? And the same thing is true about resorts and hotels, which we also service. You know, you want to find out, is there a chairlift in the pool? Do I need, you know, is that available? And how do I get somebody to help me get it working and go? You know, because yeah, we go to resorts and we see the pool lifts in there, but they don't have lifeguards and whatever. So how do you get help you?
Yeah, that's a question you got to think about for sure.
Yeah. So just think about, I would say for you, think about what experiences anybody would want to do at that resort or on that ship, and then figure out what accommodations need to be made to help them experience that just like anyone else, and then see if those accommodations exist.
Yeah, that's a good thing to think about, because resorts and cruise lines do think about it and have thought about it. And it's just a matter of, like you said, asking the right question and getting the correct information back to the customer so that they can have a stress-free vacation and have just as much fun as everybody else, right? That's what we all want.
And I believe I heard that you have a list of questions that your clients can ask to make sure that they're comfortable with their experience too, right? So they should contact you?
Yes, absolutely. Give us a call. We've been trained. I am actually special needs certified. I went through the training, Karen. Yay! So, and I found that to be really valuable. Going through the training, it just opened my eyes up to what you're saying, which is to ask the right questions so that I can make sure that, you know, my customer comes back happy and having the vacation that they've always dreamed of, just like we all want, right?
Right, exactly.
So yeah, so I enjoyed the training quite thoroughly. And then now, as a person wanting to plan their vacation, other than speaking with their travel agent, is there things that they should think about to plan ahead, other than what we just talked about, like seeing what's available at the resort or on the cruise line? Did we miss it?
Sure, absolutely. You know, depending on what their situation is, if they're having to travel with equipment, or for example, in our case, we don't have the legal ability to meet somebody at the airport. So we can't do a transfer from an airport to a ship or from an airport to a hotel. So understanding that and what services are available. Not all airlines, believe it or not all airlines have wheelchair service. So understanding that kind of thing. How am I going to get from point A to point B? You know, what kind of, depending on your situation, what kind of bedding is available? Maybe I need a certain kind of bed. So, you know, really don't be afraid to ask any questions. You want to be as comfortable on your vacation as you are at home. So think about the things that you do and need at home, and make sure that those things are available to you throughout your journey, or at least at some point when you reach your destination and your vacation truly begins.
Yeah, because I would be thinking, until I learned about special needs group, what do I have to take with me and carry with me and lug with me? And knowing that you don't necessarily have to do that. You can just make a list of what do I need at the resort or on the cruise line to make me comfortable? What do I need in my cabin or my room? What do I need to get around? If I'm going on excursions, what do I need? Like you said, does the hotel have access to the pool? Even dining rooms, like, is it easy to get in and out of the dining rooms? And a lot of those things to think about before you travel. And the fact that special needs groups exist, and I wouldn't have to lug all that stuff. It's great to know all of the things that are available. I mean, I have one customer who has really bad allergies and needs like special linen when they travel, because everything needs to be hypoallergenic, and they need an air purifier in the room, and there's or the cabin, I should say, different things that they require because of their severe allergies. And for me, that's somebody that doesn't have severe allergies, I might not think about that. I might think that's something that somebody might need. So yeah, questions, right? Get as much information as possible.
Something else I'll let you know that we do that a lot of people don't realize is that we do provide calibrated refrigerators, little baby refrigerators. So because, you know, you go to a resort, you go to a ship, and they have little refrigerators in the room, but there's no guarantee that those are calibrated. So if you have medication, I was thinking about the person with the allergy, if she has certain medications that she has to keep in case she has a really bad reaction or something you know, we do have calibrated refrigerators. So again, that's something that you wouldn't think about being at home. Your refrigerator is pretty well calibrated. I can't maintain a constant temperature, but those little, you know, resort fridge, you ever been to one, you open it up and it's all frozen over, and then the next one you open up, it's hardly cool at all. And so
yeah, or even some hotels that I stayed in when I went to Vegas with my husband last year, not all of the hotel rooms even had a refrigerator in it. And if you're somebody that takes insulin, you know, insulin diabetic, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, it has to be at a certain temperature. So yeah.
Again, don't worry. Ask your travel advisor, ask Anna, anything that you might think that you use at home, go through your daily life, and anything that you think you might need, let your travel advisor know, let Anna know, and, you know, we'll get the laundry list going, and we'll see what we can personally do, whatever the resort or cruise ship can add, you know, whatever it is. We'll try to make sure that everything is there for you so that you have a worry-free vacation.
Well, thank you for that. And I really like your website and your customer service. Anytime I've ever had to call, they were, you know, prompt, available, very informative, and were able to address any questions that I had as a travel advisor for my customers. So just wanted to put that out there that, you know, your customer service team is A+, and your website is a great resource for me to look at to get all the information I need to provide to my customers. So I appreciate that about you guys.
Well,
so before I let you go, is there anything else that you think we missed, or anything that you want to add and share with the audience?
Well, I just want to say one more time that if you do personally have a situation in your life that you feel prevents you from traveling, or if you know of someone who does, be hopeful, because I'm sure that Anna, with our help, can put you on a vacation of a lifetime. So don't be afraid. Definitely don't be afraid. You know, we've been in business a long time. We've serviced almost 750,000 satisfactory orders. So we can definitely help you in any situation that you can think of, if it's possible. And our tagline is delivering an accessible world. We all believe in that. Every single person that works at Special Needs Group believes in that. And we'll be honest with you, if we can't accommodate you, you're going to find out. But I'm going to tell you, if we can't do it, there's probably nobody that can, because
right,
above and beyond.
Yes, that's true. I found that to be true in my experience with special needs groups. So, well, Karen.
And one more thing, it's so important to work with your travel advisors, because they have knowledge Why bog yourself down with trying to figure out all the little details? Anna has all that knowledge at her fingertips. She's got all that experience ready to help you. So please use your travel advisors. You're gonna have such a worry-free time, because that's what they're paid to do. They're paid to take all of that on for you. So enjoy, being a former travel advisor, I'm telling you, it's the way to go. Work with a travel advisor.
Well, Karen, thank you so much for your time and all that valuable information that you shared with us. I really appreciate it. And if you would like additional information on how you can travel safely and comfortably, even with mobility issues or any of the other issues that we talked about today, feel free to reach out to me, and you can reach me at www.vacationsbyanna.com, or shoot me over an email, and that's ahoy@dreamvacations.com. Again, this is the Travel Pulse. Thank you so much, and come back next week for another episode of the Travel Pulse. Thank you.